Hey everybody, welcome back to Budgies. For today, we're doing a follow-on from our How to Play Warcaster in 5 minutes video. We had a comment on that video from Stephen Bennett, who said that they would love to see an unboxing of the box. And Stephen Bennett, I think that's a wonderful idea. You are a credit to both Stevens and Bennett's everywhere. So what we're going to do is, in the course of preparing for battle reports, I've actually picked up the third faction for Warcaster, or the third faction from the original run. So what we've already seen in the 5-minute video is the Iron Star Alliance, and these are going to be your iron-fisted corporate empire sort. And we've seen the Eternus Continuum, which are your cyberpunk death cult fun people. So let's introduce you to the third group here in a second. So this is today's target. This is the Command Group Starter set for the filthy outworlders who do not respect the authority of the Iron Star Alliance. This is the Command Group Starter set for the Marcher Worlds, which are the third faction in Warcaster from the original run. You can see there's some epic freaking art up there, here on the cover. It also shows us exactly what we're going to get in the box. We're going to get ourselves a Warjack, a couple of solos, and a squad team. This spooky figure in the back overseeing everything, that's you. You're the Warcaster. So let's open it up and we'll see what we've got in here. All of the starter sets the command groups follow that same kind of formula. Each one you're going to get a Warjack, a couple of solos, and a squad. Packaged in luxurious brown cardboard. Get out of here with that. Got the individual models. Give some room here. Individual models all kind of sealed up in wax paper. We'll do those individually. Got our dice here. Rulebook. Couple of 30 mil bases, and our cards. So we'll take a moment to sort everything, and a security device. We'll take a moment to sort all this out, and then we'll show you one at a time what we've got. All right, for our first stop, let's take a look at the rules. So the rule book is this little pamphlet. It's got a handful of pages of the current lore of the universe, and it's going to walk you through basically all the steps, all the components, everything you need to play. Pretty succinctly, I think it's laid out pretty well. Bunch of scenarios here in the back. It's everything that you need to get started, secondary missions, all this kind of stuff, and a little model showcase. It's small, it's handy, it's actually quite convenient, so keep it around. Then we get these cards here. We're gonna have cards that introduce you to each of the models you've got. These would normally, if it's like the little cardboard blister pack, this will form the front of it, so it's got the barcode on there. It tells you a little bit about the lore, or the story behind whatever it is you have. There's one for each of those units. Introduce you to your new army. And then we get the rules cards. So each one of these, set to the side, you have this cool little gold font on top. These are going to be what you're going to actually use in the game. And these right here, we'll start from the back. It's going to make more sense that way. So for instance, we've got our Hunter Solo card, and it's got all the stats you need right there in the front. Speed, mat, rat, def, armor, the weapons, any special abilities are there on the back. So we've got our Hunter Solo, our Ranger Fire Team, that's the 3-model squad. Another card for the Hunter Solo. Some of the original Kickstarters had the variants in them. I bet that's why that's in there. Come on, separate. The Dusk Wolf, we'll come back to you in a second. Where's the other one? Come on. There it is. And the Coalition Weavers. This is going to be your Weaver who casts or channels your arc into Fury ciphers. And those are all pretty self-sustaining cards, nothing big there. The rest of this little deck is all about Warjacks, because we all love our Warjacks. The one that you get for this specific set is the Dusk Wolf. It's the Marcher Worlds Light Warjack. It's got a selection of heads there. I'm not sure which ones come with it, so we'll find out. There's a selection of heads or cortexes right there, and then an explanation of what they do, along with special rules for the Dusk Wolf. The Dusk Wolf has, just like the other ones, it's got 3 hard points. So it's got a right shoulder, left arm, and right arm, and this is what allows you to customize your Warjack. These weapon cards are what you choose to put in each of those hard points. So you get to kind of sort of customize your loadout with each individual Warjack. So this one we've got a shoulder, a left arm, and a right arm hard points, and a maximum weapon points of 5. So each of these weapons has a weapons point cost. So you can kit it out how you want, just make sure you don't exceed 5. Now the other models that I have that you saw in the previous video are all very melee focused because I think it looks cool. So for this guy, the Marcher Worlds are a bit more of a ranged focus, so we're going to choose some ranged stuff. The Ripper, it's a cost 1 melee. Railgun, this is what I'm talking about. So the Railgun is a shoulder hard point, cost 3. So that's an expensive one, but I like it. I believe it's the one in the art on the cover, I'm not sure. So we need to fill our 2 arms. So the other shoulder one can go. Looks like it's gonna be a Ripper and a battle rifle. I'd like to use the flamethrower. Flamethrowers are fun. But again, we only have 5 weapon points. So the Railgun is 3, the flamethrower is 2, and then each of these are 1. Since I'm limited to 5, we're gonna do probably a battle rifle and a Ripper. You can magnetize these. There's some videos that Privateer Press does on how to magnetize them. I'm a bit more freeform about it. I just go with what looks cool. So once we get around to building stuff, that is probably the load out that I'll choose. And that's what these cards are. Over here in this deck, these are 24 of your Cypher cards. These are the generic cards for everybody, as of the first thing. I'm gonna sit here and embarrass myself for 10 minutes trying to open this. All right, first try. All right, so these can be your 24 Cypher cards. Right now, all the starter sets come with the same ones. They're sort of a generic all-around thing. In the Collision Course Kickstarter, which is going on for another 2 days, there's some fashion-specific ones that are up for grabs and a whole new set of these. But these are the ones you're gonna start off with. We may do a video on that later on. So those are the cards and the rulebooks that you get. Let's move on to the token sheet. All right, so here's the sheet you get with all your tokens on it. This is much easier to open than those cards were. I think, there it is. And these are really dense, I don't know what the word is, cardstock, I think. It's very dense cardstock, fairly sturdy. I'll probably slowly replace them with styrene or plastic tokens that I make myself. But it's one sheet, and everything just kind of pops out. So you've got your 7 arc over here. That is really satisfying. So you get your 7 arc here, followed by a row of activation tokens. After your activation tokens, you got a row of damage markers. And a whole host of status effects that I'm not overly familiar with, but are explained in the rulebook. I know we've got things on fire here. And if you watch my Fallout series, you know that I am never happier than when a model is imaginarily on fire. We got some tune-ups here where you can boost your jacks. We got corrosion. And I don't know what the rest are, but I can look them up. System failure, I think is that one. So pop all these out. So these are all tokens that are going to be placed next to the models as you play, which is why they're nice and small sized. Very convenient. I imagine this shouldn't be too hard to replace them if you happen to lose them, but hey, I don't know. This long bar right here, this is gonna be your pulse tracker. Pop this thing out. So you can keep track of as the game goes along. So you start with turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's pulse round 1, start over, helps you keep track of that. These 6 right here are objective markers. So numbered 1 through 6. And most of the scenarios, almost every scenario that I've come across in Warcaster is very objective based, which is good because it's impossible to kill off your enemy's army for the most part. So objectives are a big part of that. These last little parts here are actually the void gates. Now they have pewter models for the void gates, which I don't have within arm's reach because I've only got like 2 of them. But the starter kit comes with a void gate that takes up the same amount of space. So there's a couple of these bases with a little slot in them, and then the nifty looking purple gate itself, and a couple of these slotted bases from Privateer Press. So pop out your little slot thing in the middle. Stick the little void gate in there. You would glue or duct tape or whatever these things into place. None of which I'm going to do right now. And there's your void gate. So it comes with 2, since every army is allowed to have 2 and no more. Get rid of that. And that is what you get in the tokens thing. I recommend having a small box or something to keep them in, especially these, because you're going to be recycling through these like candy. The dice aren't going to take long. They're dice. If you're watching an unboxing video for a war game, you're probably familiar with 10,000 dice, and you've got 4,000 in your room right now. I've got an ammo can full of dice over there. It's ridiculous. But what we get is we get a classic D6 for rolling up your D3s and such. We get 5 action die. These are going to have 1, 2, all right, so 3 blank faces, 2 faces with a single strike on them, and then 1 face with a double or super strike on them. And these are what you're going to roll for most of your attacks. That would be a garbage roll. Don't do what I just did. These are going to be your power die. These are like action die, but better. They've only got, I believe, 1 blank face. They've got a bunch of strikes on them, and then still just the 1 super strike. If you have some sort of bonus, like if you put arc on a model, then you're going to be adding some power die. So they're a nice little way to amp up your regular attacks. Way, way scarier than your regular action die. But now the moment you've all been waiting for, let's get the models in here. Currently, Warcaster is entirely pewter models on plastic bases, in case you were curious about that. They come in this little wax paper. I can tell you just from immediately picking this up that this is the Warjack because it's quite heavy. So we'll come to him later. Let's see what we got. You can kind of see through them. So that's our fire team. We're just going to start over here. Completely at random. I love destroying things in the process of creating things. Symbolism. All right. So this guy looks like our Hunter Solo. We got the little slotted base here that he will hopefully slot into. And he's got, it's like a long rifle. So he's kind of a sniper type individual. I'm holding that wrong. Try to pose him for you there. And then what looks like his backpack. Yeah, he's got a spot on his back for what looks like a backpack or a drone unit or something like that. I don't know. I haven't actually looked at his rules. I should probably get around to that. There's not really instructions that come with the model, but most of them are only 2 or 3 pieces. So you can look at the art and just kind of see where they're at. The production quality is pretty good on these, to be honest with you. The mold lines, there's usually 1 mold line that loops around. Rifle looks clean. Backpack's pretty clean. A little bit there. And he's got this really cool kind of billowy tattered cloak behind him, which is really just awesome. There's a very unique aesthetic to each of the factions, which I really appreciate. Cool. So that's our Hunter Solo. He's most likely going to be sniping and jumping around and being infuriating and hard to kill. If you guys are interested in watching me assemble these things, let me know in the comments. It'll probably be a couple days before I get around to it, but you never know. Next on the docket. I'm so strong. All right, this is gonna be, he has no head. The man has no head. Okay. Oh, there it is. Crisis averted, everyone return to your homes. All right, this is gonna be your Weaver, so your spellcaster for lack of a better term. And he's got this cool little funky casting staff here. Staff, I don't know. From Tennessee, we don't speak English. Quite a bit of flash on this one, but mold lines again, not too terrible. Looks pretty good. The parts are also not super fragile. I mean, there's a couple of spots that are kind of hanging off, like the cables here. But once you get that all assembled, this actually looks to be pretty sturdy. Which I haven't messed around with pewter that much in probably close to 10 years, so I'm very grateful that they're sturdy. So we got a big old backpack unit, plugs into a staff, we got his staff there, and then his head's rolling around somewhere here. There you go. And he's gonna be what channels your Fury cards, so your Fury ciphers. Setting people on fire, always a good plan. Locking people down, knocking people back, making people explode. Gotta do what you love. So those are your 2 solos, by the way. This is gonna be the squad, by the feel of it. All right. Once again, we got 3, losing a bit there. Why are there so many heads rolling around? Good Lord. All right, so we got 3 slotted bases there. We've got, oh, these are cool. So continuing with the kind of dusty cloak motif, these are really kind of the ragged, backwoodsy type looking characters. This is really kind of cool. I am really actually getting more excited about painting these things the longer I do this, so forgive my excitement. All right, so we got 3 people here. We got 3 bodies. We got a mess of heads. 1, 2, okay, you guys don't have heads. It's gonna be a little bit of mixing and matching here. I'm sure I can check the pictures and sort them out later on. Someone's got a little Arkansas toothpick running around there. We got some guns, backpack, more guns. Again, a little bit of, nope, that's not flash. That's a pipe or a cable. I don't know. I'll sort all that out. So slightly more complex than the other ones, which is not bad. The art, at least, looks to be pretty, let me get the box. The art, again, this is what you're gonna use to figure out where everything goes into. Looks pretty dynamically posed for the most part. Actually, whoever designed these things, kudos to you, because these actually look really cool. So that, again, that's your hunter, your sniper dude, the coalition weaver with the little oogie boogie staff. Ranger fire team, they're gonna be your squads. Main job, run around, shoot stuff, hold objectives, do squad-like activities. Come on. And the bases. All right, now for the crown jewel of all of our favorite Privateer Press products, the Warjack. All 6 pounds of them. Come on. All right. So before we get into the pewter, real fast note about this, because these guys they're all solid pewter, they're all quite heavy. I strongly recommend, on the bottom of these bases, there are these neat little tubes or cylinders. I really recommend drill up through those and pin straight from the bottom of the base into somebody's foot. So in his case, you can see there, that is a 10 gauge nail that I cut part off of, and it goes all the way from here up almost to the top of his foot. So this dude's going nowhere. His has much the same, it's harder to see in there, but it goes up into this little I-beam and into the bottom of his foot. These guys are heavy, so please take some time, put a little work into it. Their feet are sturdy, but once you figure out your pose, pick one of these that matches up with a foot, drill up into there, slice off a little section of a 10 gauge nail or equivalent, brass rod if that's what you're into, and pin them down. You will thank yourself later. Then you'll thank me because you remember this video. All right, Dusk Wolf. So let me get my picture here, because these guys are where it gets a little more complicated. What in the friggity? Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Okay, let's find something that looks like a head. That looks like a head. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's a head, forward body, legs, single hip joint there. So we got one there. Where's the other leg? All right, good. It's got a nice little power stance, kind of a yoga horse stance. Maybe like he's fixing to punch you in the solar plexus. So that's going to be where you connect up to there. I haven't needed to pin the legs into the body yet. I also haven't dropped one yet, so we'll see how that goes. That's going to be a hospital trip. Okay, I'll put the legs to the side. This is probably some sort of apparatus for his back, if I had to guess. Maybe I should like read them. Oh, it's his arm. I'm a doctor. Yeah, it's his arm. Okay, we're good. So he's got these big old friggin' shoulder plates like he's a Titan out of Destiny. And it's just a simple socket so you can rotate it wherever you need it to be. We're gonna hang on to those for just a second because we're gonna talk about hard points. Weapons. Okay, let's get his weapons cards for a moment. So the weapons cards have an image of the thing on them so that you know what you're doing. So this is going to be the Ripper. That is like almost perfectly life size too. So that's going to be the Ripper. This pretty clearly is going to be the railgun. So we need to find the battle rifle. That's the flamethrower, so we're not going to use that. Add that to the bits box. Battle rifle, there we go. So there's the rifle. Cool. So the way these hard points work, let me find them on him. All right. So there's going to be a socket, and they're usually, what's what I'm looking for? Ambidextrous. So let's take one of his arms, actually, for example. So for instance, here's the battle rifle. The battle rifle will clip into either arm, whichever way you end up loading it out. So you don't need to buy a separate one. There's not a left arm battle rifle and a right arm battle rifle. A little bit of flash there we're going to pull off. If you want the battle rifle on his right arm, great. If you, for some reason, equip him with 2 battle rifles, you can put it on both arms, etc., so on. So there's that. The Ripper, it's a cool little, it's like a bayonet type thing. It's actually really sick looking. You can trim the crap out of some dudes with that. So these are going to be the arms. Choose your weapons, add them on there, and then those are going to get mounted up on the body. I will figure out a pose for this guy at a date which is not today. Or at least not right now. So battle rifle, since we've already gone through and picked out the weapons, we already know what we're going to do. So no problems there. So let's take a look at the rest. Okay, Cortex. Now the card, which you need to find, the card for the Warjack shows, for each Warjack so far, shows 4 possible heads or cortices, whatever it is. So in this case, we got the fighter, the neural net, the scout, and the sniper. And then on the back, they each do different things. For instance, this guy, who is currently my favorite, he's got the Jack Hunter cortex, so he can spike an arc and get like a preposterous 3 extra action die every time he attacks a Warjack. So he's a bad dude. Bad business. For this guy, now the flip side to that is each one so far has only come with 2 heads. And I think the variant B packs, which you can buy on their own, just weapon packs, come with the other 2, but I'm not sure on that. Nobody quote me, I'm on the internet. So we kind of have to look here and see which ones we've got. This is going to be the neural net head, which gives him +1 defense for every other friendly unit within 5 inches. That's not bad. So this would be someone that you want to plant and then surround him with little dudes. And then this is going to be the, what am I looking at here? The pictures are not super clear, so you kind of got to do some interpreting. Yeah, super thrilling television, I'm sure. I think this is the Scout. Okay, this is the Scout head. And Scout gives him Pathfinder and Smart Lock. So while he's charged, while he's got an arc on him, he ignores cover with his guns. And that's actually kind of spooky. Anyways, so you pick which one of those you like best. I think the Scout actually sounds niftier. I like the neural net, but I planned, the way I'm loading this guy out, he is hopefully going to outrange everyone he's shooting at. So I'm not terribly worried about shots coming in after him. I'd rather have him be able to shoot into cover. So we're going to put the neural net head into the bits box, and we'll give him the Scout head. Yeah, we got these other little bits to figure out here. Sort of decipher. That's the other shoulder weapon. That's what that is. So into the bits box with you. And then this resembles the backpack stuff, so it probably has some slot on his back. That is probably more complex than I need to do for this video. But there you go. So this is gonna be the parts that we need for our dude. Let's lay them all out. We've got his body. We've got the chosen Cortex head. We've got an arm. We got another arm. I'm a professional, I promise. We've chosen weapons for the arms. We've got the legs going on there. and then backpack part wherever. And this is going to get mounted onto the hard point on his shoulder. So this is going to be base. This is going to be our Dusk Wolf Warjack, and that largely concludes what's in the box. So that's a quick look at what you get in the Stinking Rebels Command Group, the March of Worlds. It's everything that you need to play the game at a very, very basic level. What it does give you is a sampler pack, because each of these kinds of units work differently. They give you a squad, they give you a Weaver, a Solo, and then a Warjack. That's a great way to introduce yourself to the game, figure out what you like, what you don't like, and see all the mechanics. Fair question, can you play a game with just a starter set? Absolutely. It will just be a very, very small game. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's a starter set. It's something to get you into the game, give you what you need to play. From here, you can flesh it out and build it out with individual packs and more models if you want more squads, more Warjacks, whatever. The trick is you want more Warjacks because Warjacks are amazing. Thanks for watching. If you guys are interested in seeing me assemble and or paint stuff, drop a comment below. It's going to take a while to prep things up and get cleaned up because I'm still painting all the other stuff. But just let me know what you want to see, and thanks for watching.